Hello guys, today we're going to be working on a 4.3 liter Volvo Penta engine. This is a 95. We're just going to be doing something pretty simple, changing the thermostat. My boat, I just finished installing fuel injection, is running it, and it's running a little cold. It's running only about like 120, 130, so need a little warmer than that, so I guess my thermostat might be a little stuck open. So pretty simple. We're just going to go over, all I got to do really is loosen the hose clamps, break the hoses loose, pull them off, and there's just two bolts, one right there, and I believe they're 9/16, and we're going to take those off. I got to get this cover out of the way. So the tools we're going to be using for this job is a crescent wrench. You got something to separate your hoses with to kind of work around the hose. A flat blade screwdriver for the hose clamps. I'm going to be using a nut driver though. It's a little bit easier. I think I put an 8mm socket on there just to give me a little wiggle room. And ratchet, extension, 9/16 socket. Small screwdriver to take the O-ring out of the thermostat housing, pull the thermostat out. I'll show you that when I get to it. Razor blades to clean the gasket surface. And last but not least is a Trump hat, because our boat's great and we'd like to keep it that way. So like I said, first we just got to get this little decorative kind of cover out of the way here. Just break that nut loose. Spins off pretty easy. Slide that off. I'm going to break these hoses loose, because you need to do that before you break these loose. That way you got leverage, because you're going to have to tug on these hoses a lot. They get pretty seated over time. Again, we're just loosening up the hose clamps, just enough to slide them back out of your way. You don't necessarily got to take them off. This is the tool I was talking about here. Something like this to kind of get up underneath that hose and work around it is the easiest way to do this. Because see, they're stuck. There's other ways. See, mine's already spun. But once you get up underneath that hose, you just kind of work this around. That loosens up your hose enough to break it loose, and just pull it back. So that's all broken free. Take the 9/16 wrench. You got a bolt down here and one right here. Alright, so I'm going to break these bolts loose. Not bad. Alright. Then I'm just going to spin them all the way out of here. Pull these bolts. Look, one's a little bit short, one's long. That definitely, when you get that big a difference, it definitely matters. Okay, and we're gonna wiggle. Oh, that was easy. Okay, you see inside of there's your thermostat. All right, so it's seated in there, and the way, I'll try to hold this light and this, the way it is there's a rubber O-ring that goes around that thermostat that holds it into place. You can see that little band. Basically, you got to get a little flat blade screwdriver in there and pick around it. It takes a little bit of work. Once you get it to come out, it comes out pretty easy once you get it going. There we go. Now I've got it. Let's see. So that O-ring's in there pretty good. You see it gets, that's good though. That's how it holds the thermostat in. Now once you get that out, that just really just picks up and comes out just like that. Once you get the thermostat seated in the housing good, you take your O-ring and put it back in here, kind of drop it around. You just got to kind of work it back in that groove, so usually get it started at one spot. Okay, so now it's seated in there. The thermostat's in the housing. Both my surfaces clean on the intake and on thermostat housing. I cleaned that up real good. The thing, make sure you plug your hole. I stuck a paper towel in there or something, because anytime you're cleaning all that crap that comes off there, that old gasket, it'll get sucked into your cooling system, and you want to avoid that as much as possible. Get this gasket lined up real easy. Put your bolt in there. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know where you're at. Okay, put the bolt in there. And I usually take and go ahead and put on one side of that, so now you got a little bit of a guide pin. That hose is in my way. Set it down to your hold on all surfaces. You want that gasket to stay lined up. We're going to tighten this down. So get it decently tight. Guys, if it starts leaking when you start it up, you can crank them down a little bit more. You don't want to break your bolt off. I know this ain't gonna leak, this is tight. Slide your hoses on, they'll get them all on at the same time. Get your hose clamps in a position where it's easy to tighten them. You'll thank yourself later when you go to take them back off. That's tight. Make sure you seat the hoses all the way to where as far as I can go push them up on the housing. Don't want these suckers flying off, especially if you're in a saltwater environment like I am. That would devastate your engine. Saltwater dumping all over it. Okay. Last one. It's an easy job. Easy. Just gotta make sure you get your surfaces clean. Better to take time and do it right the first time than have to take it apart and redo it. So, got all my hose clamps tight. And I just got to put my pretty cover back on there. That's it. So I just started it up and I'm checking for leaks. And there's no leaks. It looks dry. We're going to wait till it builds up some pressure. Make sure that thermostat opens up. It should open at about 160. That's the temperature. So we're hoping that rises to somewhere in here, and then you'll see it drop because the thermostat opens and your temperature drops, but then it'll stabilize and it should stay around 160 to 170, somewhere in there. So